This clip is brought to you by SaveWithConrad.com.
Gate of this show in Seattle is the largest ever for a Raw taping. This, of course, at the time, but $91,092. And I guess there's a misconception that the WWF was really struggling in 96, 97, but the gate numbers don't always reflect that. I think it's just the perception of fans at home because, well, WCW's creative is on fire with the NWO. And as a result, they're more often than not winning the ratings war. But the business of the WWF outside of the ratings comparison was not bad. Is that something that you would sort of beat the drum around the office, sort of saying, hey guys, let's focus on our business, not necessarily what everyone else is doing?
I focused on what's next.
Yeah.
What's next? I saw a press conference one time from Nick Saban, and he's getting questioned after a game press conference thing, and their next game was against Tennessee, and he kept saying, we're on to Tennessee. Another question, we're on to Tennessee. And they were talking about opponents down the road.
Yeah.
How are you gonna match up with Auburn? It looks like they're coming into their own, blah blah blah. We're on to Tennessee.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I did. I just believe that we're on to Tennessee, and we're on to the next thing. And that's what you should be thinking about, is your performance and maximizing your minutes the next time you're booked on television. So that's kind of where I was. I think the boys probably had more dialogue about that than I did. I'll be honest with you, Conrad, I didn't have time to dwell on it.
Sure.
You're doing payroll. I'm booking the live, helping book the cards and live events. And at this point in time, I was working with JJ. JJ was still there, I think, in 96, right?
Yeah, I think he's going to wind up leaving in 96. I'm not exactly sure when, but I think by this point he might have been gone, but just barely. Yeah, and of course, we've talked about before that represented opportunity. And well, our old pal Bruce took a stab at it for a minute and then decided maybe talent relations was not exactly his bag, maybe. I think he preferred creative instead.
He did. Yeah, he was better at it.
Yeah.
Bruce is really good at creative. And that was his passion. And paperwork and contracts and minutia, which was the perception of some, just wasn't his deal. And so when Vince saw that, I think Vince even foresaw that, because he created a new title for me, which I didn't ask for, but it came with a little bit more extra cheese in my Whopper, so I like that.
Oh yeah.
That always is a good motivator for anybody. But he found his niche, and as I understand his role now, he's kind of doing that. He's working a lot in creative and administration of that creative. So he's in a good spot now, I think, and does a good job. I was bullshit a while ago about him being a stooge.
Oh, we're all
stooges.
Of course.
So
Tony Schiavone's the biggest of them all. Everybody knows that.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Brian Pillman. He's going to debut a new Time Bomb segment. This is a more modern version of the old Piper's Pit, but it doesn't last very long. Was it the inability to really get Pillman to stay on point, or is it because Pillman needed additional surgeries and couldn't keep going? Or was it all just designed to be blown off with this Steve Austin ankle in the chair thing, as best you recall?
It's hard to me to remember that. Certainly Brian his interview segments I thought were entertaining.
Yeah.
They were unpredictable. And that may have been scary at some point in time, especially doing live television. Because, we didn't know what was going to motivate Brian and what he was going to say and so forth. But I don't know if there was really a long-term plan there. We were always dealing with Brian's injuries and his health. And that makes you have not the peaceful, easy feeling that my band, the Eagles, would sing about. You just didn't know.
Right.
So I think that's kind of where we were there, to take it small steps at a time. But Brian was certainly going to be utilized to get Austin over. And they had great natural chemistry. There's a story there. There's a backstory there. They liked each other. They liked to work together. So in a lot of ways, it made perfect sense.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And go save yourself some money right now. If you're in a 30-year loan or you have credit card debt, it's not a matter of if I can save you money. It's a matter of how much. Find out right now for free at SaveWithConrad.com.